Shalom Akim. All praises goes to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Ba'Shem Kakodash. Double honors goes to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone from whom we learn the truth. And much love and peace and blessings goes out to all you hopeful elect brothers that are out there teaching the word of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai in truth and in sincerity, as well as you sincere listeners out there that are repenting and everything, coming back to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai and stuff like that. So basically this is going to be a lesson, and I'm going to entitle it Signs of the End, Great Plagues, Signs of the End, because that's something that we've been hearing about for the past several months, is that, you know, around the world, the world's been dealing with issues of pandemics. And one of the focal points of the pandemics going on is the coronavirus, but you also have news recently of other strains of viruses and all these different diseases and flu and different viruses that are coming out that can potentially turn into other pandemics. So all in all, these are signs that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is judging the earth and putting people to death due to his plagues, and these are signs of the Lord's comings. And if I'm gonna start here, Matthew 24 verse 7, it says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom," and that's the signs of the Lord's coming, right? Because the disciples, if you read up, the disciples came to Yahushai and they asked him what would be the signs of his coming. In other words, how can we tell when you're going to come back by what's going on in the earth? And the Lord explained it. He said, nation shall rise against nation, and that nation represents nationalities. In other words, Edomite versus Israelite, Moabite versus Elamite, Ishmaelite versus Edomite, all the nations fighting against each other. That's a sign of the end, and that's happening right now. Just like with the issue, amongst the issue of the Black Lives Matter movement. You know, you had George Floyd get put to death. That increased racial tensions to a very high level. It says, "And kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." So the key point here in this precept, which I will focus in this lesson, is pestilences, because pestilences are all around us. They're happening as we speak. And the Greek word is oimos, and it says a plague, literally a disease, a pestilence. So in other words, a flu virus, bubonic plague. So let's go to these different articles I got pulled up about these pandemics. It says, this is from South Morning China Post, and this is very recent. You know, because like I mentioned, the focal point that has been for several months is everyone is talking about the COVID, but the Lord is subtly throwing in different diseases out there as well that are affecting people and putting people down. So it says, unknown, this came out July 9th, 2020. "Unknown pneumonia deadlier than coronavirus sweeping Kazakhstan, Chinese embassy warns." Statement from embassy warns that death rate is much higher than coronavirus, and says local authorities have yet to identify cause. Kazakh authorities have reimposed COVID-19 lockdown in some parts of the country amid a spike in pneumonia cases last month. The Chinese embassy in Kazakhstan has warned of a deadly unknown pneumonia after the former Soviet Republic reported a spike in pneumonia cases since June. So this is a disease that's affecting them Kazakhs out there, man. And basically Eurasia, that whole area between Asia and Europe. People getting put to death out there from this disease, this unknown bacteria that's causing pneumonia. So you have here, a squirrel in Colorado tests positive for the bubonic plague. It says a squirrel has tested positive for the bubonic plague in the town of Morrison in Colorado, Jefferson County. Public health officials announced in the statement over the weekend. The squirrel discovered on Saturday is the first case of plague in Jefferson County, the statement said. So you have squirrels testing positive for bubonic plague. If you know anything about the bubonic plague, Um, it was a disease that wiped out 2/3 of the European population in the Middle Ages, because it's a very deadly disease, and we don't know if there's foul play behind this, if there's Edomite agents of chaos that are spreading this to animals just so they can kill people. But nonetheless, this is the judgment of the Lord, because pestilences and plagues come from the Lord. So it says here, flu virus. The next article from BBC News says flu virus with pandemic potential found in China. This is from June 30th, 2020. So about like 2.5 weeks ago. It says it emerged recently and is carried by pigs, but can infect humans, they say. The researchers are concerned that it could mutate further so that it can spread easily from person to person and trigger a global outbreak. While it is not an immediate problem, they say it has all the hallmarks of being highly adapted to infect humans and needs close monitoring. As it's new, people could have little or no immunity to the virus. And we know what these Edomites are doing out there in China, through that Wuhan laboratory. They're actually creating new viruses and diseases by passing them through animals and making them more deadly and making them more infectious. And all this is doing is providing Esau a standing ground to issue his draconian laws for his new world order. This all these diseases are about. But when you look at it all in all, the Lord is making this manifest on the earth today, because this is a sign of the Lord's coming. This is a sign of who the world calls Jesus Christ, whose real name is Yahweh Shai in the Hebrew, of him coming back and pretty much judging the earth, taking you so-called white people out of power for being the wicked and establishing his people, the Israelites. That's pretty much what's going on. So go down the next one. America should prepare for a double pandemic. This is from July 15th, so a couple of days ago. COVID-19 has steamrolled the country. What happens if another pandemic starts before this one is over? 7 years ago, the White House was bracing itself for not one pandemic, but two. In the spring of 2013, several people in China fell sick with the new and lethal strain of H7N9 bird flu, while an outbreak of MERS, a disease caused by coronavirus, had spread from Saudi Arabia to several other countries. We were dealing with the potential for both of those things to become a pandemic, says Beth Cameron, who was on the National Security Council at the time. Neither did, thankfully, but we shouldn't make historical luck for future security. Viruses aren't sporting. They will not refrain from kicking you just because another virus has already knocked you to the floor. And that shows you the nature of these pestilences that are hitting the earth. Esau is anticipating on them coming back to back, because on one hand he is creating these viruses, but on the other hand, look, this is the judgment of the Lord. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is having this affect the earth, because the earth is ran in complete wickedness. These type of judgments don't go on when you're a righteous society, because righteousness is rewarded with life and well-being. When you're wicked, you get plagued with diseases like the coronavirus. So this is 2 Samuel chapter 24, verse 15. It says, so the Lord sent a pestilence upon Israel from the morning even to the time appointed, and there died of the people from Dan even to Beersheba 70,000 men. So 70,000 people died from this pestilence that hit Israel in the ancient world. So this is a pestilence even more deadly than the coronavirus. Because I believe, matter of fact, no, the coronavirus deaths in the United States is around like 200,000 in a matter of 3 months. So in this small frame of time, 70,000 people died. So you can only imagine if this was just taking out people. This could have taken out people in one day. 70,000 in one day. Because it says from the morning even to the time appointed. So it could have been a number of weeks or a few months. But knowing the seriousness and the judgments of the Most High in the ancient world, more than likely this was a couple of days to a couple of weeks. The Lord just took out 70,000 people, man. And it was for wickedness. And that shows you that ultimately plagues and diseases come from the Lord. So when you think about Esau, the potential of him releasing these diseases and so forth, the thing that allows it to affect the people is the Lord. The Lord sanctioned it. Because if the Lord wanted to, he could have Esau try to concoct these viruses and kill all these people, but him actually failed. The coronavirus could have killed 10 people if the Lord wanted it to be so. But since the Lord's judgment is working through this devil, he allowed thousands of people to die from this. So this is 2nd Ezra, chapter 15. It says 49. See where we're going to start. 49. It says, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. See? So Yahweh Shemar Shai is sending the pestilence. And this is mentioned in Asia, which is, dealing with China, Japan, and that area. But, as we see how this is generally affecting the earth right now, different parts beside Asia are getting fucked up. And it's no coincidence that the key point of where the coronavirus started was China. That's the judgment of the Lord. Because the Lord said he's going to destroy the Asians or Asia with pestilences. So you got it affecting Asia. You got it affecting the United States. So this is all in all, something that is a very spiritual thing. And it's a sign of our Lord coming back. So all praises goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash, and Shalom.